All right, good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you joining me for this FastScout webinar. My name is Letitia Luckett. I'm in client services here at Fast Model and have been for the past 2.5 years. I do have a background in coaching, so I truly enjoy this portion of my job where I get to help coaches get prepared and get prepped for the upcoming season. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to do a little FastScout tour. We're going to talk about some key features and workflows to get you started for this upcoming season. We'll talk about the difference between opponent scout, templates, things of that nature. We'll get into distribution. Once the scout is prepped, how do you get it to your players and the rest of the staff? And then along the way, we'll talk some tips and tricks. This webinar is recorded, so you will have access to it afterwards. And additionally, there is a chat and a Q&A feature. Please feel free, drop questions in at any point in time. I'll stop periodically to make sure I'm meeting your questions answered. All right, without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so when you first log into FastScout, you're going to be directed to the My Team page. Here, you'll be able to see a load of stats, a variety of stats that you'll have access to start prepping for your game. You can look at stats on yourself as well. On this page, you'll notice everything is auto-populated. Within 2 hours of the conclusion of your game, 2 to 3 hours, the stats will auto-populate in here. That is the foundation of our platform here, our ability to get the information in quickly and efficiently for you guys so you can keep preparing for upcoming games. A couple things to note here. As I'm going through this, you'll notice this fast intelligence piece. This is our newest AI feature. If it looks interesting to you, feel free to reach out to your account manager and they can discuss pricing and get you up and running right away. A couple things to note when you see these badges here, these are rankings. Currently right now, right here in the corner, these are all of D1. If you ever wanted to switch to your conference, you can do that fairly quickly. As I scroll to the bottom, you got your box score. You have access to all of those type of things that you would have on your team website. So we like to make this a one-stop shop so you don't have to go in between platforms to get the information that you need. You got team stats that you can look at here. We already have splits already broken up for you. And then at the bottom, once this loads here, very typical team stat comparison that you can find on your website as well. Leader tiles, already have these broken out in these categories for you so you can see quickly who is performing well in these different categories. As I jump over to this schedules tab, once the 20 games start populating in for 24-25, it will begin to look like this. Couple key features here are the box score. So any of the results, you can click right on it and it'll take you to the box score of that game. You can see the game flow, breakdown per period here. And when you scroll down just a little bit, you see the box score for that game. So again, one other step, you don't have to go to another website to get that information. If you need to print it, you can simply click on it here and it'll print for you. You got your play-by-play and team stats as well. Back on this page here, you'll see these synergy icons. When you click on this synergy icon, it then takes you to the synergy breakdown web edit of this game, which allows you to begin pulling those clips for that game. And you don't have to, go to synergy, come back to our platform, takes you right there. You can pull the stats, pull those clips from that game. Additionally, for the box scores, if you need to print one or multiple box scores, you can click these boxes here, hit this print icon, that will print off for you. Additionally, if you need to get to one of your opponent's page pretty quickly, again, everything that I'm showing you about this team here, you'll be able to see for any other team. So if I clicked on this team, you'll be able to see their analytics, their schedule, their roster, scouts as well. This rosters tab, when I click on this, it will show the upcoming roster. You can go back to a previous year if you so happen to need so. And then when you click on a player, again, you see this fast intelligence breakdown for you. You got the shot chart, you got their basic stats and information. You can click and see their game log. So if you're working individually with this player, you can quickly see their information. Again, synergy icons located over to the right for you. And then you can click on the career. We do follow, as you see here, she played at Oregon. Looks like her first year in 21-22. We do follow players throughout their career. So you will be able to see all of that information anywhere that they've played. And then once again, I'll point out this synergy icon here. If you click this, this will take you to their player page in Synergy. So not a game breakdown, but it does take you to their game breakdown. You can begin pulling clips right from there. All right, so the opponents tab, like I mentioned before, if you click on this opponents tab, you can see all teams, or you can go to the schedule. Schedule is going to be people that you're playing. But you can have access to see information on any other team. So I can click on Charlotte here. It then takes you to their analytics page, their schedule, roster. You all have access to that. Cool. Let me check the chat, Q&A, see if there's any. Awesome. Okay, I think we're good right now. Let's keep it rolling, and we're going to go over to the Scouts tab, where you'll probably spend the most of your time anyway. All right, a couple things to note here under the Scouts tab is Opponent Scout. Anybody that you're playing, you're going to want to create a scout under here. Self Scouts, anything involving your individual team, you're going to want to create under there. Anything like a player development plan, a post-season evaluation, a preseason evaluation. You can create a scout on your team. Hey, if somebody played us today, this is what they would say about us. Those things will fall under the self-scouts portion. We also have practice plans. We have templates in place where you can just plug in your information. You can customize them as you see fit, but you can also start housing your practice plan in our platform if you like. To create a scout, it's super simple. Click on New Opponent Scout. Once the schedule is in, and this white space here will be the next 5 or 6 games upcoming, you could click on it. It auto-populates this information for you. Regardless of if the schedule appears here or not, you can always create a scout. You just manually type in this information, select the league, select the team. Game date is super important. How the stats work is if you do it manually, it auto populates to this day. So if the game is actually on November 8th, and they played 2 or 3 games in between October 10th and November 8th, you're not going to get any of those updates. It stops on this day here. So you want to make sure the game date is correct. You can always update that if you need to. Templates here. So we get into the scout portion. Templates are going to be super important for you. So once you do it one time, you'll be able to just click on that template and then worry about typing in the information. So templates are super important and save you a ton of time throughout the season. For this example here, I'll click on this webinar scout that I've already started, and we'll dive in and talk a little bit about the scouting portion here. Again, as I noted before, you'll see this fast intelligence piece over to the right. If you don't want to see that, simply just close that tab there. But over on the right here, these are where the tiles, the different tiles that you can add into your scouts and the different designs. So all customizable, all preference. Tiles here, you just click on one, you can add it right into this scout here. All of the tiles, if you drag in this right-hand corner, you can resize them how you see fit. You can move things around. You can click here and rename it. You want this to say about my opponent, you can quickly change that. Within this box here, you have the same type of word functionality you would in a Word document. Bold, italicize, change the font, color, bullet point, numbers, all of that type of thing. Over in this right hand, this is where the pages are. You can easily delete by clicking this X, and you can reorder the pages if you need to pretty quickly. You can add a new page from this plus sign, and you can also add a page by hitting this plus sign in between the pages. As we're talking about the different tiles, you'll notice, you have opportunities to add tiles with stats, box scores, leader tiles, personnel stats. Right now, this is blank because no games have been played this year, but it is super easy to switch to the previous season and see those stats. Each tile, they have a black bar here. You click these three dots. The tiles with stats have a settings option. So I'm going to click here. In here, you have a ton of functionality. Customization. So on the stats here, you can decide what stats you want to see. As I scroll down, this is how everything is displayed. Super easy to drag and drop. You wanted points to be up here next to minutes. Easy to click on those as well, and it will reorder for you. Another thing to note is everything is in this lighter gray color, which is going to give you the average of that stat. If you would like to see the total of a stat, you simply click on it, and it's easy to flip in between the two. So for makes and attempts in this example, I'm going to click those so I can get the totals of those stats. As I was talking about switching to the previous season, over here in this right-hand corner in this drop-down menu, you can select the 23-24 season. Additionally, if there are certain players you don't want to see, you can remove those players as well. And then even for the games, if you only want to see a certain amount of games, click those games, easily click in between those splits. If you wanted to see this box score of just the home games, away game, you have that capability as well. So now that I've selected 23-24, adjusted my stats, once I hit Save Tile, those updates automatically populate for me. So super easy, time efficient for you to get the stats that you need, especially in these first couple games when no games have been played. You can see what they did last season. So as I scroll down, we'll jump to the personnel tiles. So the personnel tiles, they have subtiles within this particular tile here. So you see these text boxes up top here. This is where you can add video. We'll touch on that briefly in a little bit. You can add another text box if you need to. This is a custom table. This is an image, and this is a shot chart. So for this example here, let me add a shot chart to this player's profile. And again, you can drag and drop and customize and place things where you need them to be. So I'm just going to resize these. Go a little bit. I'll make the shot chart a little bit bigger. And then you notice it auto-populates to 24-25. Again, super easy to switch these stats to the previous season. So when I click edit here, I'll just select 23-24 in this top corner. You have a couple different functionalities as well in here. You can switch this to a zone. And we've also added where you can change the colors of these to further customize how this looks for you. Or you got the make and miss. For this example, we'll use a zone. Same thing with the shot charts. You can select, if you want conference, home game, any of those options as well. So once I hit Save Tile, that automatically updates to the previous season. So a tip and trick here, as we're talking personnel tiles, instead of me going through and adding this shot chart for everybody, you can click these three dots here and go to Apply Player Layout. So I select all the people that need this layout, hit Save, and then updates that for everybody. So super time saver there. You don't want to have to do that for each individual person. As far as switching stats for a personnel tile, you'll want to click these three dots here in this corner, go to Settings, go to Games, and then you can click Last Season. So these are all the different splits that are in place for you already. You can deselect all, go to Players, want to make sure somebody's selected there. Stats, the same thing. As I talked about with the box score, you have all the same functionalities here. You can drag and drop, resize. You can select the total of a stat. Another tip and trick here, as we're changing these, so you don't have to do this for each person. Once you decide what stats, what games, you click on players again, and you'll want to hit bulk edit personnel tiles. So once I hit save here, this is then going to update those stats for everybody. Now you see you got last season here, last season for everybody available there. So again, time savers there, so you don't have to do things on an individual basis. All right, let me check the chat here and see if we're good. What if you have somebody transferred? Okay, you want to see the stats from where they transferred. Okay, I'm not sure if any of these players transferred, but let me just click and see. Let me go to settings and go to games. So if somebody has transferred, you would be able to see their different splits here. They're 23, 24, 22, 23. And you'll be able to select those and add stats from anywhere they've transferred in the past. Good question. One more thing I'll note here is you go to settings. Under games, you do have the opportunity to create custom splits. So if I click here, say you have a JUCO transfer, we do not have JUCO stats. So in that instance, you could create a custom split here. And when you don't select any games, which no games are able to be selected, you create a blank split. So I'll just do this for this one tile here. And once I save it, I need to drag this down just a little bit to see that. But then this allows you to click in here and then manually type in those stats for that JUCO transfer. All right, as we're talking personnel tiles, one of the most popular things to do is add video. So if I click these three dots here, I have the option to add video. When I go to add video, you'll see the options from computer and from Synergy. So if we want to pull from Synergy, it'll ask you to log in, and then this pops up for you where you can pull from any of the edits that you created. So if I click on this top one here, I just decide what video clips that I need to add to that particular player. So now you see three clips available here to add. You can pull from any other ones if you need to. But once I'm done there, add those clips. A cool thing about here is, when you pull them from Synergy, it just says Joey Bate makes 3 points. But you can go into further detail and label this accordingly. Say this is their go-to move. And then list what it is. So in and out, pull up on left side. So once this saves, and once your players see this on the mobile app, share it to them, this is what they'll be able to see and know exactly what they're watching in that particular clip there. So once you hit save tile, you'll now see a highlight over her. She's got 3 videos associated with her. She has 0, so then you'll know you'll need to add videos to that. You can add videos to any of these tiles. Any tiles you can add video to. One more thing as far as personnel tiles go, time saver. When they populate in, it'll be based off minutes played once the game start rolling in, but some people like to have it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that position order. Once you click these 3 dots here, you can quickly reorder the player tiles. So if Michaela needs to be the top person, Martin needs to be here, or if you need to delete somebody, you can quickly do that. Once you hit save, that automatically happens for you. If it's something that's super simple, you can just go ahead and drag and drop, but if you need to do a lot of formatting, using the reorder player tiles will be your best bet. Cool. Also wanted to show over here tiles you can add in plays. I've added a few already. If you can add video to it as well. If you already have added video under the plays tile, those will already be attached to them. And then again, players will be able to see this in the mobile app on their phone. All right, so as we talked a little bit about templates earlier, you want to come in here and just format the tiles how you want them to be every time that you open them up. You want these to be as blank as possible, because if you save a tile with actual words in here, then that populates each time and you have to delete it. So once you have this formatted how you want it to be, To save a template, up top here, you would click here, name the template, and hit save. So right now I have these stats populated to 23, 24 for most of these tiles. So super easy. Once a couple games populate through, games are played. Now you don't want this to say last season anymore. So you would simply come in, open up your template, come here, go to settings, go to games, click all games, deselect last season. You can select as many splits as you would like to. For this one, I'll just hit all games, hit players again, bulk edit, so we don't have to do it individually. Hit save tile, that then automatically updates for you. So once that's updated there, you will simply come back up here to the template portion, hit update, hit save, and then now moving forward, when you open that template, it will display as all games, and any other changes that you made will be displayed when you open it moving forward. Awesome. So let's talk distribution a little bit. Once you have your scout in place, all the information is there, ready to share to the team, what are your options? We do have a shareable link here. Once you click on that, it does generate a link for you. That link you can text out, email, send to players, and they'll be able to see this scout on their phones. What you won't be able to follow is who's looked at it. Now, there are cases where maybe someone's phone's not working, maybe whatever the case may be, they can use this shareable link and it's available to them. All right, it takes a little bit of time to load up here. I should have did this prior to. I typically do that, so my apologies there. But do want you to be able to see what this looks like once it's generated. So once I click on that shareable link there, then looks exactly like the scout that you have here, just in a PDF form. They can scroll through, see the scout. Any videos associated with it, they'll be able to click here and see those videos. The next option is presenter mode. So when you click presenter mode, this turns your scout into a presentation. So no extra steps on your end, but you can hook this up to a projector in the film room, and all of your work here is easily displayed for your team. So you click through these different tiles and talk about information included on each of them. There isn't an auto play button at this moment. It's highly requested though, and hoping that that's something we can implement here soon. But for the time being, either this arrow or clicking directly on these different tiles will get you to the next one. One thing to note though, as we talk video here, we got Marta's tile here, talk about her. You can see the shot chart nice and big, and then you can go right into those video clips that you've added for this particular play. The other and most popular way is our mobile app. When you click on this phone icon up here, this shows you everybody that's in your account that have access to this. You just select the players that need to see this, and then you hit save. The good thing about the mobile app is that we also have mobile usage. So once they have mobile access and they're in the scout, watching videos and going through the different tiles, you'll see that user's name here. You'll see how many tiles they looked at. So it would say something like, Lucky's looked at 3 out of the 10 tiles and 4 out of the 15 videos. We're talking statistics here. If we're looking at a scout, those are bad numbers. So you'll be able to hold your team accountable as you're looking at this. So I'll go ahead and save that there. And then you can also print it. Super popular still. People like to have the hard copy, or you can export it as a PDF. So let me check the chat here and see, before we jump over to the mobile app, and see what that looks like. All right, I think we are good right now. I think we're good right now. So feel free to drop anything in there. Again, I'll keep stopping periodically to make sure your questions are getting answered. All right, so I'm going to jump over to the mobile app. Okay. All right, so I just shared that Cal Scout. If anybody doesn't see anything, simply drag down to refresh the page. Now that Scout is available. You want to make sure everybody has their push notifications on, because anytime a Scout is shared, they'll get a notification that something new is in there. So when I click on this Scout here, it looks very similar to presenter mode. So each of the tiles have their own section. Once you begin clicking through them, looking at them, engaging with them, this is where the mobile usage starts to come into play. So when I click on Marta here, like I mentioned before, for this video, you see their go-to move in and out, pull up on left side. And then once they're logged in, they can go ahead and watch the video right from their mobile app. Super efficient, super easy. One thing they're going to have is their phones on them. So this really helps them in that aspect. Same thing here when I talk about when we talk about the plays. They got the plays there and the associated video, and then they've got the animated video portion as well, which I can show you once we go to the plays tab. One thing to note, top right corner here, this little cloud with the down arrow, this allows players to download the app, or excuse me, download the Scout to their phone. So if you're not going to have Wi-Fi, traveling or anything like that, best to advise them to go ahead and download it so they are able to still see and operate in the Scout without that Wi-Fi connection. Additionally, while we're already in the mobile app, we'll touch on the plays tab at the bottom. Any plays that you share, just like a Scout, you can share, turn it into a mobile playbook, or if it's a week for upcoming games and you need to focus on a couple plays for that week, just share those plays. You can share plays with individual players that really need some extra loving and need to study a little bit more, but completely up to you how you want to navigate that. But very similar to how it looks in the Scout, you'll be able to see the frames drawn. You'll see the animated version of it and any other supplemental videos that you've added. All right, let me switch back to the web portion. All right, a couple things from this view here. When you click the three dots to the far right of a Scout, pulls up a menu. As you've noticed in the Scout, anytime you click the three dots, it pulls up a menu. Most likely you can be able to find what you're looking for. So a couple things to note. You can duplicate a Scout if you need to. You can archive the Scout if you need to. One of the most important ones is the restore and backup. So within the Scout, there's not an undo button, but we do keep a backup as you're working in it. So if you click restore backup here, say you delete a tile, delete something, and you need to go back to a version, you just click on here and hit restore. It's not going to delete the current Scout, but it'll take you back to that version, and you can use that one moving forward or keep this one. But that feature is available for you guys there. Additionally, as I talked about, mobile usage here, as I was just in that Scout, you'll see name here, the different tiles, different videos. So again, accountability piece that we have in place for you guys to keep track of your players and who's studying what. One more thing I'll note here is offline mode. So very similar to what I mentioned on the mobile app, allowing your players to download the Scout. If you guys are going to be traveling and want to continue to work on a Scout, you'll want to send it to offline mode. So once I hit offline mode here, it then sends it to this offline Scouts tab here. Couple things to note about offline mode. You're going to want to make sure that no one else is in the Scout when you send it offline. Once it is offline, you don't want to refresh the page, because once it goes offline, it is now on your browser, not in our system per se anymore, on our server. So if you refresh the page, if you close this tab, if you clear your browser's cache, you're actually going to lose information. So as long as you don't do those things, you should be good. And additionally, you don't want to keep it offline for an extended period of time, like 72 hours or more. But once it is offline, you click in it, you'll be able to work in your Scout as normal. Once you are back on Wi-Fi, you're going to want to come here, click these three dots, and then bring the Scout back online. So a feature in place to allow you guys to continue to work on your scout and not skip a beat while you're traveling. One more thing that I will note, you'll notice you see these different years here. Somehow people ended up using the wrong season for a scout. You need to quickly change that. You can click these three dots, go to scout properties, and then simply just change the year, change the game date if you need to, or change the name of the scout. Cool. All right, I'm gonna hop over to the plays tab really quickly. Just show you those different functions and how that works. Under the plays tab, this is our newest platform. It allows you to be able to draw plays from the web. You can still use the desktop version, press the fast share button, those plays come to this platform here. Cool thing about this newest platform is that you can log in on any web browser and have access to this and be able to get draw plays. So drawing a play is super simple. Hit new play, looks very similar to the desktop portion of it here. You got all these different elements and customization with the court, out of bounds, and things like that on this left-hand panel. And then you drawing a play is super easy. Fast place allows you to put players in position pretty quickly. Drawing, super easy. Anytime you draw, you get the option between any of these actions. And then you just continue on building your frames. So instead of going to the next frame and drawing everybody where you just put them for the actions, you can hit fast build, and that then puts players where they need to be. The animation piece, newest feature, super helpful. You'll notice here, maybe let me just draw something else for somebody. But each person, as long as the action is within this little gray radius, they'll pop up down here. So you see number 2 has the screen here. You see 1 with the pass and also a cut. And this is where you just perfect the timing of the play. You can always play and make sure people are, going at the speed and the pace that you want to. Once that's perfected, you go ahead and hit done. And then that play is then available here for you. You have different tags. If you want to label them a certain way, you can go back in, hit right click here and edit in your play details, add a tag, change the name, change the series, any of those type of things. And then once over here, you'll see the play in this mode here. When you click the paperclip icon, you'll see the animated version of it, which the players will see on their mobile app as well, and then any supplemental videos that you've added. And then you can also add from the computer or center. Very similar to Scouts, adding mobile access is super easy. Click this play icon, the phone icon, decide who needs access to it, hit save. If you want to do it for multiple plays instead of individually, you can click on the box to the left here, right click, and then edit mobile access. Add whoever needs to, hit save, it gets sent to their mobile device fairly quickly. And again, any plays that you draw on here, you can then add into a scout, as I showed you before. You can also create playbooks. If you wanted to add, I'll just keep these off since they're all selected. Right click, create a playbook. Then gets housed under this playbook tab here. You got all of your plays that you've added. If you hover over it, it does the actions for you. If you click this little hamburger looking icon, you can then reorder plays as you see fit. And then you can also export as a PDF and print that off. Awesome, awesome. Well, I appreciate all of your time here. Again, this recording will be available If you have any other additional questions, you can reach out to our support team at support@fastmodelsports.com. Again, that's support@fastmodelsports.com. I wish everybody the best of luck this season. If there's any questions, again, reach out. We're happy to help. Take care. Bye.